Welcome, Internet, to another episode of Reddit Stories. We're back to malicious compliance. Basically, people that are doing things that they're told to do, even if it's not the best idea. Don't want me to put that crap under your wiper? Okay, then. Yesterday, I went out to get my number plate fixed since I got damaged in an accident with a deer last weekend. Everything went smoothly. Nice guy at the dealership gave me a new frame to put in for free. On the way back, I decided to make an appointment to get the car checked out, since in Germany, every car has to be inspected every 2 years. Now, I've only been driving for a little over a year, so without thinking, I took a turn I would have taken on my bike that didn't work out with the car. I went for a U-turn at the next intersection and almost took out another guy, but noticed in time and stopped. At the TUV, the inspection service, I met this guy again. As I'm yet to discover, his car is parked next to mine. It's a black car and quite common model, so I didn't recognize it initially. As I get out, I notice something on the ground. It's his registration certificate. I pick it up and go around to his car to put it under his windshield wiper. Losing that piece of paper can easily get you in a lot of trouble, especially if you only find out after you've been pulled over. Feeling nice and accomplished, I turn to make my appointment when I hear someone yelling, "It's him." "Take that fucking shit off my car." Me. "Sorry, I thought this was your..." He cuts me off. "No, it's not. Now take that bloody rubbish off there." "But it's your registration..." "No, it's not." "Okay, don't need to be so rude." "I always had an accident because of you. Now get lost." "So you'd rather I put this in the garbage?" "Do what you want with it. Just leave my fucking car." "Okay," I said. Ripped it in half, as dramatically as I could, making sure he saw me. Then I threw it into the nearest dustbin. Hope he's happy to go through a ton of bureaucracy in order to replace it. Edit. Trying to fix formatting for mobile. So, first off, I don't have any idea why I gave that guy a Scottish accent, especially if they're both from Germany. Second thing is, when the guy picked up the registration paper and was like, "Hey, this is yours," this is the reason why I don't like text messaging when you're trying to actually talk to someone about important things, because inflection of how you say your words means the world of difference. If the guy picked up his paper and was like, "Hey, this paper right here," and the other guy got mad, then, game over, whatever, who cares? The guy didn't want to listen, it's his problem. But if the guy picked up the paper and put it under the windshield and was like, "Hey, I just picked this up," the other driver is already confrontational, and the inflection in your voice by saying, "Hey, you dropped this," or "Hey, this is the thing that you need," can make a world of difference in how you actually, talk to people. Just help my niece with some malicious compliance. So, this just happened this morning. My niece has been ill since Tuesday with an awful chest infection, coughing up blood and barely able to breathe. She went to the doctors and has been given steroids and antibiotics. It has also affected her asthma, and she has been very ill. The place she works at makes her call in each morning to let them know she won't be in. My niece calls this morning, and she is told that she will be needing a sick note from the doctor. This is a lie, as in the UK in the first 7 days are self-certification. She has only been absent since Tuesday, 2 days. She is told that because she has been pre-booked annual leave next week, she'll need a sick note to cover the whole time while she is off on the annual leave too. My niece returns to the very understanding doctor this morning to explain the situation and is given a sick note to cover her from Tuesday till when she returns from work from her annual leave, 2 weeks. What this actually means is that her employer now has to reinstate her booked annual leave and mark her down as off sick for the week she has already booked off for annual leave. Basically, she'll get booked off without it affecting her annual leave entitlement. TLDR. Employer lies about a sick employee note to cover self-certification period and booked annual leave. Niece complies and is entitled to claim back the booked annual leave as sick note cover the sickness period. So, if I understand this correctly, the annual leave is like a vacation, but not a vacation, it's just like time off. Someone from the UK, Angel, I'm looking at you, help me out with this. Is that what it is in the UK? But basically, what this means is that she now can use sick time to cover that annual leave. So it's like, okay, you don't want me to be covered sick until my annual leave. I'll just sick all of those days, and then I get my annual leave again later on. This reminds me of a story. Yes, Kyoto has a story. Weird, right? Anyway, back when I worked in the pharmacy, I was really, really sick. It was like cold-like flu symptoms, but without throwing up. Basically, I felt weak and coughing, runny nose, sweating, achy, whatever. Just sick. I'm working full-time at this pharmacy at the moment, and I've already worked 3 days while being sick. And I've been trying to get people to cover my shifts and to have them let me go home, but they said, no, well, if you can't cover your shift, you have to come in and work, which is BS, but I kind of want to work there. I don't want them to like cut my hours or anything like that, so I work. Anyway, this was a Saturday, and we had a regional manager, not district manager, someone that covers a few different states. A regional manager comes in, and it's me and the pharmacist there, and they're talking. I'm totally sick, like I already stated. And as the regional manager leaves, he finally talks to me and he says, "Hey, how's everything? Everything going well? Any complaints, questions, or anything?" And I just say, "Hey, is there a way that we can have some sort of pharmacy tech pool that we can have floater techs cover shifts at other stores if in case someone needs to go home sick or anything?" And the regional manager just looks at my pharmacy manager and says, "Don't you have other people that they can call, in case that they're sick? Don't you have people like that?" And the pharmacy manager lies to the regional manager and says, "Oh, well, we do, but one of them's on maternity leave right now," which was not true. She is going to be on maternity leave in like 3 weeks, which was a lie. He just lied to the regional manager, but I'm not going to call out my pharmacy manager because he was a nice guy. He was just a terrible manager, and I didn't want him to get in trouble. But anyway, as soon as I heard that, I realized, wow, they don't really care about my well-being, so I'm not going to care about their well-being. So I slept on it. This is now a Sunday. It's just me and another pharmacist come in. And at the lunch break, I decide I'm going to go and just going to go to a clinic. I'm not going to tell them I'm going to go. Just going to go to a clinic. I was fed up at the point. I go to the clinic, and lo and behold, I have pneumonia. So I tell the nurse that saw me, "Hey, I have pneumonia. They're not going to let me go home. They're not going to let me off sick unless I get a note." And she's like, "Well, how long do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know. How long do you think?" She's like, "How about a week?" I'm like, "Sure, a week." So instead of letting me off maybe 1 day, possibly 2 days, I hand them a note that says, "Let me get off for 7 days." They just look at it and say, "Well, we need you." I'm like, "Well, it sounds like a personal problem." And I was able to use sick days, 7 sick days, which I never use 6 days. I used 7 sick days and got paid for it when I probably could have come back after like day 2 or 3, but I'm like, well, they weren't looking out for my well-being, so I don't need to rush back. You want a free sandwich? You can have it. Okay, this happened a few years ago and felt like posting it. Obligatory bad format on mobile. So I've been working at a Subway for a few years now, and this happened when I first started working there. The cast, me, just me. RC is rude customer. CM is cool manager. I'm in the middle of my shift, and this guy walks in completely into whatever is on his phone. There are 2 people in front of him, so I just continue with the orders. Then this guy comes up. Me. "Hi, what can I get?" Rude customer. "Give me a meatball sub." "Okay, what kind of bread would you like?" "Just give me some duck and bread." "Sir, we have multiple... Just give me some duck and bread for duck's sake." Then I grab plain white bread and get ready to make it when I realized I forgot to ask what size of sub he wanted. "Sir, what size do you want?" "Just make the duckin' thing." Then I put on the meatballs and put on some mozzarella cheese. I was annoyed at this point. That's what most people ask for, and he didn't want to tell me, so it was fine. "Would you like this toasted?" He didn't respond. "Sir, would you like it toasted?" He then slams his hand on the plastic thing in front of the vegetables. Don't know what it's called. And then said nothing. So I put it in the toaster. Very sick of this man. "What the duck are you doing?" "Toasting your sandwich? I asked you twice and you never listened." "Bring your manager out here. This is unacceptable." I was confused, but then I called my manager out of the back room. Cool manager. "What is the problem here, sir?" "Your employee is being incompetent and extremely rude to me. I would like a free sandwich as compensation." Insert choosing beggar. This is when the inner malicious compliance comes out. Me to cool manager. "I agree with this. I'll just give this one on me." "Okay, sure, original poster. Just give him what he wants." I then take the sub out of the toaster. I never bothered to remove it. He wants olives, peppers, extra onions, and the star of the show, extra mayonnaise. What I decided to do was add a little olives and peppers, then add a literal boatload of raw onions and like a whole cup of mayo. The thing looked like a mountain of onions and mayo. And this guy, I kid you not, is still on his phone. Lets me wrap that monstrosity up, not spilling anything, and he casually picks it up and walks out of the store. Never saw that guy again, and I told my manager later that day. He was upset at me at first, but later found out it was pretty funny. TLDR, guy is rude to me and demands a free sandwich. Manager accepted it and gave him a mountain of onions and mayo on a sandwich. If any of you guys think that this story is like BS, it does sound like a little fishy. Like, people can't be that rude. I want you to go and watch some videos on YouTube about people working at Subway and people that are just demanding ridiculous things on their subs and just being all around just rude to the employees back there. Thank you again, Internet, for joining me on some more Reddit stories. So I've decided that I'm going to be starting to do live streaming, just kind of fireside chats, basically meaning I'm just there to tell stories or just to talk to people that want to talk. I've had some people that have wanted to do that, so as far as times for those, if you want more accurate times, I suggest following me on Twitter at Kyoto Combat. I should post some times there about when I'm going to be doing those live streams, but right now I don't have a set time or a date, so if you are interested, please follow me on Twitter, and then you'd be able to catch me whenever I do those live shows. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, thumbs me up, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you guys in the next video, so until then, later kids!